All right, I have something special coming up for you. It's an interview with someone who suffered from severe social anxiety, who's made a tremendous transformation. Her name is Felicia, and you're about to hear my interview with her. Now, my name is Sebastian van der Schlier. I'm a former social anxiety sufferer, and I'm a social confidence coach. Since 2009, I've solely been coaching people with social anxiety. I've overcome my own social anxiety. And in 2018, I ran the first ever social confidence community. And Felicia is someone who went through that community. Now, what that community entailed, we talked about briefly in the interview. It's unedited, just raw. So the only thing I want to say is that I, at some point in the interview, talk about the social confidence community. That I might do another one in the future. And that has since happened, because this interview is from like a year and a half ago, I believe. So enjoy the interview. It's very inspiring. It's awesome. You're gonna love this. And we since created a social confidence club, which is at the moment closed for registration, but which is in the future gonna go open for registration. But I'm showing you this interview at this time because we're close to starting the 30-day social confidence challenge, which is really awesome. So this is to inspire you to get these kinds of results for yourself. And the best way to kick that off is with the free 30-day social confidence challenge, which starts January 1st, 2021. So spread the word, join by going to bit.ly/social confidence challenge. That is bit.ly/social confidence challenge. So without further ado, enjoy the interview with Felicia. Here we go. Hello, my name is Sebastian van der Schlier. I'm a former social anxiety disorder sufferer. I'm a social confidence coach. And I do a podcast, I have a YouTube channel, and last year I ran the first ever social confidence community, and it consisted of a drip-fed content piece, a forum, and a live webinar piece. And the drip-fed content was the members would get tapping lessons sent. The forum was where everyone could talk about it and ask questions. And the live webinars was where I would take people to the front, ask them, what's your biggest social anxiety issue? And I would just work with them, whatever it was. And everyone watching would just follow along and tap along. So that was the concept. We ran that for 10, 11 months, something like that. And it was great. People loved it. And I have Felicia here, who I'm going to ask some questions. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I said to you earlier that we're going to do this in my usual, very professional, informal way. So I've written down a bunch of questions and was just fired them off. Okay. So can you maybe explain how your social anxiety was before the community started?
Okay. I mean, I know this wasn't the case for a lot of the people in the community, but I know for me in particularly, like it was pretty rough.
In like in what kind of situations would you experience it? How intense would it get?
It would be pretty bad. It was more like for me, strangers, like people I truly didn't know walking up and trying to talk to me. That never went well. You know, I was getting a lot of like physical symptoms, like it was hard for me to breathe, like my throat would start closing up, things like that.
Yeah. And how would you talk to yourself when that would happen?
I wouldn't really, it was kind of like I wasn't really overthinking in that moment. Like while it was happening, I would just kind of like freeze and kind of be a statue, you know?
Right.
But yeah, afterwards, I don't know. I got pretty down on myself, but I think like before this, it was really hard to put a label on like what was happening to me.
Because you weren't really aware of what was going on?
No. I had like, I think like my entire life, as a kid, like I was diagnosed with ADHD, and then they undiagnosed me like 3 or 4 months before the community started. So then I was like, so what's wrong with me? You know, like I was trying to figure it out.
Then what is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, okay. And what was most difficult about your social anxiety experience?
Um, Definitely just like being in situations where I don't know, like I should be myself, or like definitely for me, just like going to parties or like seeing friends, that was a struggle. It was like I have a couple other friends that also have social anxiety and we can really relate to each other. But besides that, it's really hard to get somebody to understand what you're going through.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
very common experience. I hear a lot because it's, it's this big secret because we're all supposed to have our
Yes.
act together and that kind of stuff. Yeah. All right. And how long have you been dealing with social anxiety?
I want to say like pretty much most of my life.
Mm, yeah. And were there things you tried before to try to get rid of it?
I did. I take. I took medication, and it never worked out well. Until recently. I actually, as soon as I got off all the medications I had before, and then I started a new one for anxiety, it actually helped.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that didn't work out. And then I also had, I don't know, just like I said, like I didn't know what was wrong with me, so it was hard to find ways to cope. It was a lot of just negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the medication that so you stopped all medication and you started one particular medication. When was that?
I started it, I think it was around the same time that the community started. But what happened was like it had a little, hill where it was going to make me have more anxiety for like 2 weeks or so. And I think like that part was so intense that I just kind of called it off. And then I started doing it again, I think after the community ended, like
Hmm.
a month or two ago. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it's really been helpful.
Okay.
And I think a lot of it has been because like I've done so much work now that like having the extra just like emotional help, like I'm really able to like combine the two.
Hmm. Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Well, whatever gets the job done. That's what
Yes.
what my mentor would say. Yeah. Okay. And before it, did you know about tapping already or not?
Okay. um I think like I saw a video of yours a long, long time ago when I was like 16 years old. And I think I just like subscribed to the email list. And then way back in the day when I know you had like previous communities, right? Or not communities, I shouldn't say. Sorry, previous like kind of like self-help
Yeah.
modules, were they
Yeah.
called?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a previous product, social confidence system.
yeah. And then this was like going to be the 10th version or something. So I think what happened was I actually a long time ago I bought it, but then it's like the second email will come with a link, and then the email never came. And then I was like too nervous to ask about it.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, if this is a scam, this is a great scam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think eventually like I was kind of lost. So when I found the email for the social confidence community, I was like, I guess I'll try this out.
Hmm. Okay. It's always fascinating to hear how people find out about, me, because it's not typically the first thing that people go to.
Yeah.
It's becoming more popular now because tapping is so effective, so it's rapidly gaining popularity. But still, it's not the number one yet. So okay, and was there an obstacle that would have almost prevented you from saying yes to the community by going for it? Like, what I mean by that is like before you actually decided to go for it and sign up, were there thoughts that you were having in your mind that almost made you say, yeah, no, I'm not going to do this?
The only thing I think like part of it was there was no set date on when it was going to end.
Mm.
And then at the same time, like we were being charged monthly. So like the money of like, because I'm young and I work a minimum wage job. So it was just like, how long could I keep it up?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and all right. So now we have a bit of a setup. So I know what your obstacles were and what your problems were. So you would freeze in situations, and particularly where, um, like, what was your worst social anxiety scenario? Was it at work? Was that at school, or where was that?
Work for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it was kind of weird. I all my previous jobs, I like always felt so grateful and so blessed because I always just really got along well with the people around me, which wasn't the case like anywhere else. Um, and and then what happened was I switched to this job at a coffee shop and it like changed everything. So like I wasn't getting along with the people, all the customers were coming in and like it was making me super anxious and nothing was going well.
Yeah, you were the barista,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Hmm. Okay. So would you have anticipatory anxiety prior to going to work, or would it just show up at work?
Both.
Both.
Definitely. It was pretty rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right, and then we did the community, and what's the biggest benefit that you've gained from that?
I definitely feel more like, okay, this is gonna sound out there, but I feel more like I could just sit with myself more.
Hmm.
Like I don't have so many racing emotions where it's too complicated, like just to be comfortable in my own skin.
Hmm. That's great.
And I think like definitely it's also started like kind of a positive chain where like, okay, I did this and even after the community ended, I still feel like I have tools to keep working, and keep getting to a place that I really want to be.
Nice. That's awesome. Great. Cool. And it's a somewhat similar question, but I'm going to milk this for what it's worth. So, so what are your overall results after the community? Like, what has changed? How's your social anxiety now? How's your social ease now?
Okay. Um Actually, I like that question better. Okay, so definitely like physical symptoms are pretty much almost gone. Um which is a huge, huge thing. And I definitely feel like if this was like before the community assessment, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
Like I definitely wouldn't be able to like put my thoughts into words, as well as I can now.
Mm, yeah, that's awesome. That's spectacular. Right? That's a massive
Yeah, it
transformation.
really is. It really is.
Cool. And how do you feel when you're in a social situation now?
Um, it really is more easeful. Like that's a good word to describe it. Like I'm not overthinking it. I'm not like too worried about my own physical reactions. Like even my movements, like how I'm going to respond to whatever they're saying, like how I'm going to talk with my hands or whatever. Yeah, I could just say what comes to mind.
Okay, great. So it's no longer this pre-planned calculative, can only say this, shouldn't say that, like that kind of thing
Yes.
anymore. Yeah, good. That's
Or
good.
at least the rules have loosened a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I I'm also trying to interview people now that haven't fully made the transformation yet, because it's for some people difficult to, like, some people who are new to my work or are new to tapping for social anxiety. um, they might see a testimonial of someone who's completely free of the problem and totally at ease and everything's great, and it's too far from their reality to fathom that that can even be possible. So even people who have made it like you to, much better than before, but maybe not completely where you want to be at. That's maybe easier to get for them. And so, I now want to see if I can interview at different stages. It's a bit more harder to get them on the call than
Yeah.
than it even is with the other ones, but yeah, So anyway, appreciate that you're doing this. This is very nice. So thank you. Okay, let's go on to all my other questions. Where are they? Has it been worth the money you've invested? Because you're, like you said, a minimum wage maker, money maker.
I think so. Like, for me, unfortunately, it's a big problem. Like, one of the biggest problems I have to overcome, and it's been that way for a long time. So to finally find something that works is great.
Nice. And was it a painful process?
No. Well, I mean, if you're talking about physical pain, no, not at all. But I don't know. I would say like kind of it does take a lot of time, so it was hard to manage that. And like it feels good to let go of like negative energy, But yeah, I think also what would happen is like some days, how sometimes it can get worse after tapping because like you haven't completely gone through the process and like you're running out of time or something. So sometimes like to feel those painful emotions come up is a little bit like uncomfortable, but that's the closest it'd get to painful,
Yeah. And what I say to that is, for one, sometimes you kind of tap on the more surface thingies, and then you uncover what was actually underneath. So now you've tuned into a deeper emotional wound, which is actually ripe for healing. But experiencing that is quite uncomfortable. But not, I mean, I don't want to put things in your mouth, but my experience is it's not to the degree that you can't handle it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's somewhat uncomfortable, but it's emotions you feel on a day-to-day basis in moments that you don't want to feel it anyway. And now you're actually bringing them up, and you have then the tools to work through them.
Yeah. And it feels nice, like just to feel like you have a sense of control. Because a lot of times, like being around a lot of people and like you feel like these things are happening and you don't want them to, but to like purposely bring it up for healing makes you feel more comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Taking control of your inner world in a way, which is nice, especially if you're used to not having any control whatsoever, and just things just happen to you and emotions just come and you don't know what to do with them, and it's all over the place, and it's quite it can be quite an overwhelming experience. And then when you learn how to tap in the right way, we've also gone over quite a lot of your inner psychology and how it all works. And when you have these particular mindsets in the right place, you become quite skillful at managing your own emotional state. Yeah. Man, I should interview myself. I was interviewing you. Stop talking so much. Okay, so what's something that you learned from the community that stands out, that's very helpful to you today?
I don't know. I can't think of a good answer for that off the top of my head. I think I would need a minute.
Okay. I'll put it on the back burner in case it comes up. Then it will come up. If not, it's fine. Right? It was actually not on my list. I just thought of it. So, probably not my best question. Okay. What specifically did you like most about the community?
I think I really did like the fact that, there were other people in the webinars like telling their story. So it did feel personal in a way. And like, it was kind of like a half community where it's online. So you're not worried about presenting yourself, which is very, very important for social anxiety, I think.
Yeah.
To kind of like feel comfortable around people, but then like not have to worry about how you're reacting to them.
Yeah. Especially in the beginning, I like in the first 5 months or so, the forum was quite active, and we really started to get to know each other quite well. And I really had the sense of we're all in this together, and you know, a sense of community, and yet you can remain anonymous. So yeah, it's a special kind of setup, and I think very helpful for people with social anxiety. So yeah, awesome. Okay, and what are I told you I was going to milk this. What are 3 other benefits of the community?
3 other benefits. The information was very helpful. I'll say that. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty intellectual. I like learning. So like, I think I just enjoyed the psychology part of it, as well as being like, okay, I'm getting a better understanding of myself and why I'm in this position.
Mm.
That was really helpful. Another thing, um, I didn't really go on the forum too much because like there was a problem with like a password, stuff like that. I fixed it eventually later on, but from what I did see, there were people, they were just talking about like, it wasn't just about tapping, it was about they would actually introduce other things that help them, like books and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was some mutual sharing going on. Cool. Um, okay. Would you, well, actually, I'm not running the community anymore at the moment. I'm doing some other things, and I'm thinking of putting something else together that is somewhat similar to it. So I've gotten a lot of feedback from everyone, and so you know, I might run an improved version in a different format somewhere in the future. But it's actually quite a lot of work to manage it behind the scenes. So it's, you know, let's just say I have a holiday for a while. But would you recommend the community in the way that you've experienced it? If so,
In
why?
the way that I've experienced it, yeah, I would.
Mm.
I liked it.
Yeah. Why?
It was extremely helpful. Like I said, it started things for me. Where like, yes, like the goal was you want to be free of it by the end, but I think like because that was in your head, you also truly like worked that much harder to get like everything you could from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. That was pretty much it. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No.
Great. Yeah. So this is it. Yeah. Great. Awesome. Okay. Well, then I just want to say thank you very much for one, for being part of the community. That was really cool. And for two, for doing this little interview. This really helps people to see that, hey, there's actually something that can help me overcome this problem. Because most people, you know, they don't really feel that they can overcome it. Also because the recommended approaches that are out there, okay, just change your thoughts, and then they change their thoughts and they feel a little bit better, but then they go out into the real world and their anxiety triggers them just as hard, or they face their fears and they get temporary results, or they do hypnosis things and that doesn't work, and they try all these things, and they try something, they get their hope up, it's going to work, it's going to work, and then it doesn't work, and it's like, oh, you know, it doesn't work, and they try another thing, and again they get their hopes up and it doesn't work again, and now they get more and more skeptical, and they really start to feel like, man, I can never overcome this. And even with like different people that I interview, and you know, I give them their before story, their after story, and they can tell these are real people that I'm interviewing. This is, you know, you're not an actor. Other people that I've interviewed, they're not actors. These are real people who had real problems, and now it's a lot better, or they don't even have the problem anymore. And yet it's still difficult for people to believe that they can make that transformation, and you know, they think they're the toughest case ever. What would you say to them?
I would say like it's definitely hard because I feel almost kind of like this is more still a developing field trying to help these people. Like it was something that definitely wasn't focused on. It's like such a almost, I don't want to say small, but I'm not sure how many people are affected by this because we don't really, you know, nobody talks about it. So I think like there's still so much to kind of like dive in that people are still doing stuff that's still trial and error.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I mean, I could testify it works.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for that. By the way, there's I think think it's 8% of the population that is diagnosed with social anxiety disorder in the US. And that's the ones that are diagnosed. And also, it takes on average 10 years for people to reach out for help for social anxiety. So like, Jesus, 10 years, that's a long, long time. And then I'm not even talking about all the people that don't reach out for help because they don't believe that it will work or they're too ashamed of their problem. You know, my estimation is that it's probably 40 or 50% of the population that's dealing with this problem to a variety, you know, to various degrees.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a massive problem. So but anyway, let's not get too depressed about things. There are solutions that do work, as you can see, and yeah, the future is looking bright. So thank you again very much. Really appreciate it, and yeah, we'll be in touch. All right, I hope you loved that as much as I loved seeing it back. It was really cool to see it again. Felicia, if you're watching this, thank you very much again. And if you're watching this and you want to start getting rid of your social anxiety finally, then join me for the 30-day social confidence challenge, the 1st of January 2021. It's going to be amazing. Every day you're going to get a quick email and a quick video with tap along, guided instruction, lots of new specific strategies to neutralize your social anxiety, get rid of limiting beliefs, learn to develop a better relationship with yourself, start to reduce or eradicate that inner voice that's nagging at you all the time. This is going to be a super powerful 30-day challenge. You're going to love it. It's totally free. So go register now by going to bit.ly/social confidence challenge. No surprise there. bit.ly/social confidence challenge. And leave a comment below. What kind of comment? Well, what did you think of the interview? What did you learn? What inspired you? What is a question that you might have? All right, here we go. That's it for now. Have a great week, and I'll connect with you very soon. Bye for now.